Okay, that was my bad on that one. I did not do the edit right. And I already know, I didn't even say the disclaimer yet, and I already know people are going to send this to just stop. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Since it's the new year, I might as well start it off with a series that a lot of people, a lot of people hate this series. So to anyone wondering if this is going to be a full in-depth review or just me thrashing the series as a whole, no, not really. This is just my honest thoughts and opinions on like why I think this series is considered trash. And this is not a critique on Just Stop's opinion on FairyTail, because I know he's already made like 2 to 3 videos about this series. This isn't me biting back at him or anything like that. This is just me making my own honest opinion on the series. Think of FairyTail like a Cadillac. You love it. You just want to keep it all of your life because of how shiny and brand new it is. But once you get that auto repair bill, you're like, man, fuck this shit. You're going straight to the junkyard. I know that's pretty harsh of me to say that, but that's how I honestly feel. I'm not saying I necessarily hate the series. I mean, I'll watch it from time to time, but it's just not something I would watch consistently. I mean, the animation and art are actually very consistent with each series. Well, I'm not a fan of the new art style that they had before 100 Years Quest. And to be honest, my opinion on the characters is I like everyone in the Fairy Tail Guild. Everyone, I really don't have any qualms against any of the characters. They're very likable and relatable. Now, you guys are probably thinking, who are longtime fans, oh boy, here comes the fan service bit. Well, since you asked for it. I actually don't have a big issue with the fan service, but I will say there are moments where I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, this is a little too much. Now, to go further into this, I've seen a lot of those Fairy Tail hate videos. They always bring up the fan service, talking about how Mashima can't go a single panel without drawing a girl that's like super hot and in a compromising position. Which, from my observation of watching the episodes that I have viewed, yeah, that certainly seems to be the case. But it's kind of like the whole One Piece thing. Oda draws female characters, in the hourglass style, but when you compare it to the anime, from his original work, the manga is tame and the anime just does it to just keep the viewership levels going. And probably the same thing happened with Fairy Tales, but I have actually watched the earlier episodes, which is a part of the batch of episodes that I have seen in the series, and the fan service with it was there, but it wasn't bad as it is in its later half. My whole theory about Mashima doing that is that I think Fairy Tail may have been losing viewership during that time. And so to keep the young boys' eyes attached to the screen, or the grown-ass men that were probably reading it during that time too, was just, here, we got to put Ooga Booga on here and keep them on there. But, I mean, if a series is dipping in viewership to the point of where that is it, I'm not saying that's it. That's just my headcanon theory. You really shouldn't do that. You should really improve the story. Don't do that. Unless it's High School DxD. Then you get a pass. Now on to the meat and potatoes of the garbage aspect of this series. The giant, gaping plot holes. This here is Irene. And this right here is Urza. They are mother and daughter. Okay? Let it sink in. And this is what Irene looks like. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Irene is a dragon. And to add a bit of context to her backstory, her mom was cursed. I don't know. Again, I only seen a few episodes. I don't think I've ever seen an episode from the final season, but her mother gets cursed, and when she was cursed, she was pregnant with Urza. Basically, Irene pulled a Porcus D Rouge and held Urza longer than she should have, and eventually gave birth to her. And when everything comes full circle, Urza has to fight her mother. Now, to tell the truth, I did watch the fight in English dub clips on YouTube. Someone uploaded the fight on YouTube. You can go find them right now. They're in English dub. But we're not going to be talking about how that fight ends with the meteorite scene. No. We're going to save that scene for another video when the channel has more subs on it. My biggest gripe with this is how in the literal plot convenient, plot hole / how the literal fuck did Natsu not notice that his adopted sister has dragon heritage. Natsu is known for having a good sense of smell due to him being a dragon slayer. And another thing that really adds on to this, Urza is a hybrid of a human and a dragon. Wouldn't that mean she's technically the fourth or fifth generation of Dragon Slayers if you go by 100 Years Quest logic? So if anything, she should be on par with the Dragon Eaters. That's another plot hole. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just like any series. A lot of mangaka slash other authors don't know what's going to happen as they go through the story. There's things they want to happen, but they don't know how they're going to execute them. Look, I'm fine with that. Like that's not an issue. But the whole problem with Urza as a whole is that Urza was practically a slave. Well, not practically, she was a slave in the Tower of Heaven. How did her dragon heritage not kick in when she was being kicked and beaten on every day? Or when Jalal was corrupted? That was a very emotional amount of trauma that she induced. How did her dragon side not kick in and make her want to kick the shit out of him to try to get him to get back to who he normally is? And like, you could bring up the fact that maybe it's highly suppressed because of eye-ring insert plot device. But the thing about this is that Urza as a character is known for being super strong. And it could have been a very good plot reveal, like probably during Arasion Saints or that arc where they just had to fight that guild and then the whole thing happened. I don't know. Like, could have been a whole thing where, that whole torture scene that a lot of people don't like to think about because it was unnecessary. Her dragon heritage could have activated there, and then a part of her could have been permanently left with dragon scales. And it could have been a whole arc of her trying to figure out, why do I have dragon scales? I'm supposed to be human. And it could have been a big reveal that, hey, you're actually not 100% human. You're 50% dragon. Could have been a whole thing. Could have had a whole badass moment of her trying to learn from Natsu. Hey, Natsu, can you teach me how to fight as a dragon slayer? Like, because that's something I really want to know, because, I'm half dragon. Like, that could have been a good plot point. But no, we can have that. We had to have bullshit plot convenes, Now, when it comes to this other huge plot hole, I'm not really a big power scaler, so a system with a very simple power system or a complex one, it doesn't really bother me too much. But I will say that I can kind of see why a lot of people don't like Natsu's power-ups. He doesn't really learn them. They're honestly given to them, or he just ate something and boom, he has something like lightning fire magic. It doesn't make sense from a narrative plot point. Like, at least, let's take a series, for example, My Hero Academia. Izuku got the quirks of the past One for All inheritors, but he couldn't use them at will. He had to learn each individual quirk on his own, or at the very least get some help from All Might and Bakugo. With Natsu, it's just that, oh, I ate some lightning. Now I can use lightning fire magic. Like, couldn't have a thing where Natsu had to sit down and learn how to use it again. Like, he has it in his arsenal, but he has to learn how to use it all over again. I don't know. That just kind of feels like if that was just installed into like the series, like, hey, Natsu's strong, but he just can't use these spells like willy-nilly. He has to learn each individual one from whatever element he just ate so he can do it again. That would actually be pretty good, actually. And now on to the biggest, yet not the last part of this section, actually. To be completely honest and unfiltered, FairyTail is terrible at telling serialized story arcs. And I already know there's going to be a lot of hardcore FairyTail fans that will disagree with me on this opinion. I should know because I ran into one of them at my job one day. To be honest with you, this girl was delusional about how bad the serialized storytelling was. And every single point I pointed out, she just brushed it to the side. And yeah, I'm sorry. Mashima is not good at telling serialized story arcs. Now, granted, I know Eden Zero exists and I know Rave Master exists, but until I read a good majority of Eden Zero, because I am aware of what happens in that series, I will say FairyTail is not the series that should have been serialized. It should have just stayed fun adventure, action series, and I probably would have watched all of it if it had stayed that way. Now, this disclaimer is very important and I need people to hear this message. I'm not discussing the bait and switch, which is Natsu X Lucy. Because we're not doing that here. Now for this last point, I'd like to discuss Lucy Heartfilia as a character. There are only two good aspects of Lucy's character before I really dig into the plot hole and what she is. One, she has an amazing English dub voice, Chiami Lee. Thank you for voicing the character. You are amazing. And two, this girl is funny. Mashima made a great, funny character out of Lucy. There are moments where I just busted out laughing uncontrollably. Now, what is the problem with Lucy Heartfilia as a character? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it boils down to two things. Lucy has shown no attempts in trying to do any type of physical hand-to-hand combat, or as a list exists explains, which I will get into them for a moment, she cannot fight without one of her star dresses. Like a physical one-on-one fight, she can't do without one of her star dresses, which is like, what do you do in a situation where you can't access your power whatsoever? You need to learn some sort of hand-to-hand combat in order to defend yourself. And speaking of her celestial spirit keys, a list exists, the channel I was watching their video on, discussing like how they were revisiting a video made by a YouTuber, and they even discussed the fact that Lucy has all the gold keys, but she never attempts to try and get all the silver keys. Hell, from what I remember in that video, they even said that she didn't even try to find any of the gold keys. Most of these keys were just given to her, and then by the end of the series, she just has the other 8 or 9 that she needs. And yeah, that is a big plot contrivance. Like, how in the hell are you gonna go on a quest for the keys? The quest gets abandoned for a good amount of chapters, and then all of a sudden you have all the keys. That makes no goddamn sense. Also, a list exists. If you guys are watching this, please let me know down in the comment section below if I did get that correct about what you guys said about Lucy Celestial Keys. And also, you guys are funny. Thanks for making YouTube videos. You guys are super funny. Now, despite all the negative things I've said, FairyTail to me is like, it's honestly like my relationship with One Piece. I don't necessarily hate it. There are some aspects I do like about One Piece, and there are some aspects I like about FairyTail. But the bigger question is, what do we as an anime fan base do? Do we just trash on it as it keeps going on and on and on? Whether JC's staff wants to keep doing it to piss people off, or Mashima does it so that, you know, he can keep his cost of living up and updated. Well, to be honest with you guys, it's all about what your taste in media is. Do you like something like FairyTail where, you know, there's obviously plot holes and obviously there's not that much character growth? Or do you like something like Berserk or something like Black Clover, or hell, I'll say it, something like Gintama that is centrally comedy focused? Same thing with Konosuba. It's okay. We all have different taste in media. I like battle shonen series. My brother may like stuff like Ace Attorney or Blue Lock. It's okay. Everything is just based off opinion. If you see a series that you like get dog shitted on, that's okay. There's just a lot of people out there that don't like that series. If you like it, that's totally fine. Anyone talk shit about it, that's okay. Let them voice their opinion. We should voice our opinions, not hate each other for our opinions. Anyway, I'm just going to end the video right here. Y'all have a good one. Happy late New Year. Making this video after New Year's Day. And, you know, just like and subscribe. See you guys later.